Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Man, you gotta love these moments when a smug liberal gets absolutely rocked on their own show. And that's exactly what just happened to Bill Maher when journalist Batia Unar Sargon dismantled every single tired, endlessly regurgitated left-wing argument on tariffs, free trade, and the globalist scam that's been gutting the American workforce for decades. You know, Bill Maher, like most liberal elites, thinks he's so much smarter than everybody else, even though he's got no background in business, economics, and finance, and certainly no experience. He's Bill Maher, the big brain liberal from an Ivy League university, therefore I guess he knows frickin' everything, right? These smug, arrogant, pompous liberals love to pretend as if they're experts in every single field, as if they're the authority on every issue, but boy oh boy did Bill Maher just get a damn reality check. He thought that he could get Batia to bend the knee to admit that she had some sort of buyer's remorse in supporting Donald Trump, but instead what did he get? Certainly not what he was looking for. No, instead he got a master class in actual economics and working class politics. You know, something the left used to care about. He got a full dose of reality check, and it's about damn time we started to see these kinds of interactions on this issue. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so take a look at this right over here.
I want to answer the question about manufacturing in the 70s.
Oh, I don't blame you. I'll go back to that, too.
So the reason people want to go back to the 70s is in the 70s, the largest share of our GDP was in the middle class. And that was not separate from the fact that 25% of our economy was in manufacturing.
Right, the largest share of our GDP
was in the middle class, the biggest chunk, the middle class,
most
people
of
who were
what was
middle
produced
income.
Came from the middle, and now it comes from what? The rich.
Now, the top 20% controls over 50% of the GDP. Our economy was an upward funnel of wealth, and the largest share, which used to be in manufacturing, which gave a lot of working class people a middle class standard of living, now the largest share is in real estate and finance, meaning that asset-rich Americans are controlling over 50% of the GDP, and they have left the working class out of all of that prosperity that was generated. That manufacturing is still being done. It's just being done in other countries. It is still
for wages we will not work for.
That's exactly right. You're right, Bill. That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market. Why are we accepting that there should be a race to the bottom? China, what is its competitive advantage over us? It's that it pays slave wages. Why should we accept that? They're still manufacturing our PPE, our pharmaceuticals, our cars. They're making all that stuff. Trump says there are 5 industries that we cannot have any kind of national security without having a stake in them. Pharmaceuticals, lumber, steel, aluminum, and I forget what the 5th one was. But these are really important, that we have a stake in the manufacturing of the things that we need as a nation, so that when China decides that it wants to go to war against us, we're not relying on them for steel and aluminum in order to fight them.
She absolutely nailed it. You know, we keep hearing this free trade argument when it comes to tariffs. It's not free trade. It's not free trade if you start applying tariffs. We should have free global trade. But free trade was never free for American workers. It was a rigged frickin' game that benefited multinational corporations and China at the expense of the American middle class. 5 million good-paying jobs shipped overseas. While corporate America certainly got richer, the stock market went up, but the working class, what did they get? Oh right, they lost everything, and then we're told by these smug elitists to simply learn to code. Yeah, how is that one working? Especially in the era of AI. And on top of it, just to make matters worse, as they were shipping the working class's jobs away, they were also flooding the country with millions of illegals to undercut wages for the jobs that were left. It seems like a deliberate, coordinated sellout, and both parties were in on it. But apparently, if you're against the gutting of American industry, you're against free trade. What an absolute farce that is. You know, this is why Trump's economic vision is so important. Tariffs aren't about taxing imports. They're about leveling the playing field. They force these globalist corporations, who feel no allegiance to the United States, they're multinational, to actually have to bring jobs back instead of exploiting cheap labor overseas. It's not a tax on Americans like the clueless media keeps parroting. It's a tax on China, Mexico, and every other country that's been exploiting America's open market while protecting their own markets. And don't even try to tell me that tariffs don't work. We already know that they work. When Trump imposed tariffs on steel and aluminum, American steel plants started reopening. It's literally that simple. When he slapped China with tariffs, their economy took a massive hit, while American manufacturing saw a resurgence. The proof is in the frickin' pudding, and if people understood this, they'd probably realize how full of it the Democrats are when they suggest that Donald Trump only cares about him and his billionaire pals. Donald Trump is actually working against the interest of massive billionaires and in the interest of American workers. And once people start to see that, their eyes start opening up, like this journalist and author, Mrs. Bhatia. She is a self-proclaimed leftist.
When I first read you, you were a conservative Republican, but not crazy. Like I read you in where? Newsweek, Time Magazine? You went from just a conservative, leaning right to a Trump supporter. And I'm just wondering what you think now. We're approaching 2 months in. You must have a feeling in your gut that this is really going badly, and I shouldn't have thrown my lot in with this team.
No, I feel so proud of, I mean, I was never a Republican or a conservative. I was a leftist, and I am still a leftist. I'm just a MAGA leftist now because...
That makes no sense.
When I look at what President Trump ran on and the agenda that he's enacting right now, he took a Republican Party that was built on social conservatism, foreign interventions and wars, and free trade and free markets. I mean, he's pretty pro-gay. That's pretty obvious. He appointed the highest-ranking out gay person, Scott Bessent, our Secretary of Treasury, which is incredible. And he sidelined the pro-life, so he believes abortion should be legal for 12 weeks.
But free trade,
on foreign intervention, he's anti-war. He's trying to bring it to an end to all of these wars, okay? He's on the other side of another party that is quite pro-war and wants to keep the war going, right? And he's not free trade. He does not believe in free trade. He looked at our destroyed manufacturing base. He looked at the fact that working class Americans can no longer afford the American dream. And he looked at why that was, which was there was a handshake agreement between both parties that we should somehow have free trade, which resulted in shipping 5 million good manufacturing jobs overseas to build up China and Mexico.
And some came here.
No, what they did was they brought in millions and millions of illegal migrants to compete with the jobs that remained here. And what Donald Trump said was, we have to stop selling out the working class. That agenda that he laid out, socially moderate, anti-war, and anti-free trade protectionist, that is a leftist
Sam, I
agenda.
will bring you in.
When confronted with Bill Maher that she probably regrets her vote at this point, as I mentioned earlier, she hits him with the frickin' facts. Absolutely not do I regret my vote. Oh no, is the stock market down a couple points over the last couple of weeks? Who frickin' gives a crap? Like a lot of people, she prioritizes the interest of the nation and the nation's workers above the elites in their stock portfolios. You know, I own a good amount of stocks, and I've watched my portfolio take a little bit of a hit, but I haven't lost a single night of sleep. You want to know why? Because frankly, it feels like a small sacrifice made for the greater good. A little bit different than what we saw with Joe Biden when the stock market was cratering, inflation was through the roof, and it was just a decline in growth and American productivity. Just because numbers go up doesn't mean good things are happening. You might be one of the privileged few to be in a position to take benefit, but if you look around, if you look at the world, if you look at the economy that you're leaving for your children, if you look at the middle class cratering in on itself, and young people unable to afford homes or save money for the future, well, what's the point of seeing your stock portfolio go up while society around you is freaking collapsing? It's a no frickin' brainer if you actually understand the dynamics, if you have a basic understanding of the economic fundamentals. And so there's really no regret here. No, just more proof and more reinforcement on the idea that I believe I am on the right side. And funnily, or ironically enough, a side the Democrats used to claim as an identity, right? The Democrat Party was the party of the working class and their interests. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one anymore. And the issue of tariffs, I think, perfectly encapsulates the concept. There's a reason why working class people are ditching the Democrat Party. It's because the Democrats have completely abandoned them. They instead prioritize corporate donors, cheap foreign labor, and globalist trade deals over the hard-working Americans who break their backs and build and create everything around us. You know, in my view, seeing the Democrats' posture on this issue, they've made it clear that they care more about the profits of multinational organizations and stock market go up than they care about the interest of American workers. That or they're just being played and they're mindlessly partisan, they don't understand the issues, and so they're just falling for the media talking points. Ooh, tariff bad, tariff tax on Americans. It's such a simplistic, ridiculous view that really doesn't highlight the importance, the core issue, and the whole purpose of Trump's tariff policies. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.